media.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Fringe. Well, big news day, even though it's not really circulating around in the mainstream media. But hey, everything that's been happening is a lie. Everything the government has been doing throughout its 10 years and its tenure, when they talk about climate change, when they talk about why we're paying carbon taxes, when they talk about how bad we're polluting the environment, it's everything we've always said it was, but now it's confirmed as Chrystia Freeland is caught in 4K, busted, absolutely revealing again that all of this is just a smoke and mirror show, that it's nothing more than driving money into the pockets of the wealthy and the WEF, essentially, by putting forward their globalist plans. What am I talking about? Well, oil and gas, petroleum, natural gas, all of those wonderful things that the government tells you you shouldn't be using when it comes to our plastic straw bans, when it comes to all the carbon taxes we have to pay. You remember Justin Trudeau saying last winter that the only way Canadians get a white Christmas is by paying more carbon tax. Well, today we have some new video footage of Chrystia Freeland prior to her becoming a member of parliament, prior to her being the finance minister, if you can call it that, coming out in an interview talking about just why we're paying our carbon taxes, just why they push this globalist agenda. The fact that it's wide open now that it's all a lie. I've always said that Chrystia Freeland wasn't that bad before entering into government. Of course, she used to be almost half right wing, as I recall, being from Alberta. She was on Bill Maher at one point before getting into government. She had some good points, some good talking points, but she didn't get twitchy until she was actually a member of parliament. Here's a classic interview. Vesper has pulled this up. The truth, courtesy of Chrystia Freeland, admitting fossil fuels are abundant, and the real reason the Liberal Party is pushing the climate change agenda, Western Canada stand up. Hint, it's not about excess carbon. Let's take a look. Now, this is about a 4-minute clip. We're going to go through it, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Let's dive in.
I wonder whether we're actually at sort of a pivot point where fossil fuels are coming back, huge natural gas discoveries in the United States. We're seeing now oil sands, we're seeing the Brazilian discoveries, and we're seeing it reflected in the price. I was at the end of last week at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Shell representatives were there in force. And the big preoccupation there was not, are we running out of fossil fuels? The Russians are worried that there's too goddamn much of it on the market right now, and the prices are too low, and they were bitching about the excellence of the US companies that are finding a lot of it. Gazprom, the mighty Russian gas producer, is now saying, Jesus Christ, the Americans have a lot of gas now. So I would like you, Russ, to comment on this and talk about what impact that's going to have on the politics. Because, if we find that our fossil fuels are a lot cheaper, and this economic pressure that we had really been worrying about, certainly up to 2008, that pressure is gone, aren't we going to forget about these issues for a while?
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Chrystia Freeland ultimately pandering for oil and gas and essentially saying how necessary it is and how there's an abundance. Now, of course, when you think about the Petroleum Congress, this is reminiscent of one of those get-togethers where you hear about OPEC complaining about the fact that Saudi Arabia wants to put a stranglehold on oil and gas, while the other countries that are free-flowing with it must pay more to refine. They must pay more for their bitumen to get out. This is globalism. This is exactly what the whole plan has been. We're going to tax Canadians for something that they need. We're going to drive up the prices of food. We're going to drive up the prices of your energy. We're going to drive up the prices of your fuel for your cars. And then we're going to tell you that it's all to make the environment better so that we don't look like jerks while we run around and prance about spending that money, giving billion-dollar contracts to our closest friends. Now, I'm going to play the answers of what the questions are here, again, just to give full perspective as to what was talked about. But Chrystia Freeland showing that, and this is in 2014 again, 1 year before Justin Trudeau became prime minister, she was pro-oil. She says that we need it. We obviously, the problem isn't that we don't have enough, it's that we have too much and it's too cheap to manufacture. Let's continue.
A guy that I don't like sound bites as a rule, but I do believe in the all of the above strategy, because I don't think renewables can get to a major portion of the supply of world demand by 2050 and completely displace fossil fuels.
Okay, so Alexis is wrong. We're not going to be off fossil fuels in 2050.
I think it's going to be a challenge. I think you're going to have. I think it would have to have a growth that is unprecedented in any other energy development that we have ever seen. You take wood, coal, petroleum products of any kind, the growth rate that you have to have would be unprecedented. I think you have to continue to try, but I think we also have to be very realistic and recognize that coal and natural gas, no matter where that natural gas is produced, from Russia to supply Europe or within our own borders, which has been a real economic change for this country, it's going to have to be produced to meet the energy demand of the population in 2050. We need efficiency. We need more supply, and if we continue on the rates that we've gotten both, we have an unsustainable gap that we will not be able to fill. So we're going to need the efficiency end, and we're going to need more resources, and it can't just be alternative.
My name is.
So right there in that answer is exactly what I've been saying for years, that I have no issue personally with investing in green technologies, by doing research, by finding something that works, something that's sustainable, something that doesn't ruin the grid or cause mass blackouts. Right now, we're not really at that point. And of course, this gentleman chiming in to say that we cannot get there by 2050. It's an unrealistic goal. Again, Chrystia Freeland standing on support of that, saying that it's not feasible. What people have to realize at the end of the day, especially people like Stephen Guilbeault, is that we need fossil fuels. And again, there's nothing wrong with them or the use of them, but it's how we get them, how we attain them. One of the biggest things is that for Justin Trudeau to shut down natural gas and say, we're not going to give it to Germany, we're not going to give it to China, we're not going to invest in it at all, we're just going to shut it down, but we're going to continue bringing in oil from other countries. Well, that still just isn't good for the environment at the end of the day. We're just getting it from somewhere else rather than investing in our own resources. The problem at the end of the day is we need to recognize that fossil fuels are necessary, and that when technology improves, not by a certain stamp date, but when time proceeds, and again, we understand the evolution of mankind, that we can get to a point where we can use maybe, who knows, maybe we'll figure out cold fusion, maybe we'll figure out how to properly harness nuclear power. I don't know where the future lies, but that's what growth does, and that's what happens in a thriving world, when you're willing to admit that the resources you have are necessary, but getting them by the cleanest way possible is also beneficial. And that, again, when you reflect on Alberta, when you reflect on the fact that Alberta has some of the cleanest practices in the world, this is, again, where Justin Trudeau could have actually done a 180 on his career, I feel, where he could have, instead of capping everything and shutting everything down, rather than promoted Alberta and said that, hey, we have the cleanest practices. Other countries like China, India, Germany, they should all be taking notes by how Alberta does things and investing in those kind of technologies as we leap forward to find new solutions to our energy needs. Now, of course, that would have meant Justin Trudeau had to, of course, promote Alberta, which we know he'll never do. He hates Alberta. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you shocked to see Chrystia Freeland standing in support of oil and gas? Are you shocked that it's all been a lie, that this is nothing more than dollar signs? In fact, I've said it from day one, follow the money. Well, this goes to show you, plain and simple, that Chrystia Freeland's nothing more than a puppet talking for the World Economic Forum and other globalists just to promote ways for us to go poor in order for them to pump up their bank accounts. So let me know what you folks think down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, I hope this video's earned your subscription. If you're hitting that button, don't forget to click your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel tonight and every Friday for Friday Night Fringe, our weekly live streaming show where not just myself, but my wife, Mrs. Fringe, joins us here on the channel, and we go over everything that's happened in the week of politics. Sometimes she's got some quirky stories to talk about as well, and we have some back and forth within the community. It's always great to hear what you guys have to say outside of making these videos, and I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you this Friday night, as well as every Friday night. Again, that starts at 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific, here on the channel every Friday night, and I hope to see you there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.